Hello, and welcome to Auto Be Careful, the place for car safety, news, and information. I'm Gene, and today we're going to be talking about steer by wire and how it's going to make controlling your next new car a lot safer. First, a little bit of history. Steering columns have been the most popular way to control the direction of a motor vehicle for the past century. The earliest ones were solid rods that connected your steering wheel to the steering components, which controlled the direction of the wheels of the cars. These early systems were simple and easy, but they had one major problem: safety. Unfortunately, if one of these early vehicles got into a front end collision, that very same solid rod would likely be pushed into the passenger compartment and then the driver. In fact, according to a 1981 NHTSA study, the steering column was the most common source of serious injury for drivers involved in frontal collisions. This prompted a change that would require steering columns to be fitted with crumple zones to prevent such injuries. Starting in 1968, manufacturers were required to install collapsible steering columns instead of those solid rods. In that same NHTSA report, it was noted that at the time, this single change would save the third most number of lives, only to be bested by things like seatbelts and airbags. There have been some other improvements to steering technology over the years, including tilting and telescoping steering wheels, power steering, and electronic controls, but there hasn't been a major safety feature added since energy absorbing steering columns became the standard. So, what is steer by wire? Steer by wire is a total replacement for the traditional steering column. It replaces that mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the tires with an electronic one. The steering wheel is fitted with sensors that tell the vehicle how much the driver wants to turn, and that information is sent electronically to the steering actuators near the wheels that direct them where to go. Steer by wire has been in use for over a decade now, but these systems have also used a traditional steering column as a backup in case there's an issue with the electronics. So, what are the benefits of these features? Well, for one thing, removing the steering column provides more flexibility in car design with more room for safety features. By taking out this bulky component, car designers can create better crumple zones in the front end. Other benefits include improved fuel efficiency because of the removal of these heavy components, better comfort because the road vibrations aren't felt on the steering wheel, and easier manufacturing, which simplifies the creation of things like left and right hand market vehicles. There's a lot more to this as well. By eliminating the mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the tires, it allows the vehicle to optimize steering for any situation. Instead of the vehicle doing exactly what the driver inputs, it can add minor tweaks to create the best outcome in an emergency. For example, let's say you aren't used to winter driving and you end up on an icy road losing control of your vehicle. Instead of trying to remember which way to turn the wheel in this critical moment, the vehicle could detect this loss of control and operate the steering in order to minimize any negative outcome. This technology would also improve the minor steering inputs needed to make driver assist features like lane centering more accurate. Similar electronically controlled systems have been in use for decades. For example, anti-lock braking systems have been mandated since 2012, but have been standard in many vehicles since the 1990s. Like steering by wire, anti-lock braking systems will take driver input and optimize it for better performance than a driver could on their own. This system will rapidly press and release the brakes to prevent the wheels from locking up, even if the driver is pressing the brake pedal as hard as they can. There's a disconnect between the driver input and the vehicle's actions, much in the same way that a steer by wire system could implement. While there are incredible benefits to this system, there are some concerns that have slowed its rollout to production vehicles. Some drivers are concerned that the disconnect between a driver's input and the vehicle's actions will cause a situation where the driver loses control of the vehicle if the system decides to take a different action than the driver intends, or if the system breaks down, causing a complete disconnect. This has led automakers to add redundancies to their steering systems that would take over in the event of a system failure. This is why most steer by wire systems still have a steering column installed in the vehicle as a backup. Additionally, these systems are more complex than the mechanical systems that they're replacing, so there are some concerns about maintainability and ownership costs. Plus, there's concern that these systems could be hacked and cause unexpected results, although they can be built in such a way that they're as secure as existing systems like anti lock braking. These concerns have caused automakers to slow the rollout of these systems in order to gain the trust of the public. There are other systems that have moved to by wire, including throttle by wire, brake by wire, and shift by wire. All of these systems previously used a mechanical connection to the vehicle that has now been replaced by an electronic one. There are vehicles available today that offer steer by wire with a mechanical backup or offer it for rear wheel steering that makes larger vehicles more maneuverable. There are even vehicles available today and in the near future that are going to offer steer by wire with no mechanical backup, so the tide is starting to turn towards this new technology. As these systems become more mainstream, the improvements they allow should make our roads much safer, just like existing systems have already done. So that's a look at steer by wire systems, including some of the benefits and some of the challenges that need to be overcome. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and remember to like and subscribe.